I'm just going to get right to it. I've been furious for months now. And I'm really fucking done with the bullshit that's been going on. With the personal intent to harm others that's been happening. I have a friend who's become family. And that's because I chose to get to know this person. I met them online when they were in the middle of a crisis, as in they did not have any fucking resources, any, where they were. They're disabled. They have multiple conditions, such as BPD, anxiety, depression, PTSD, autistic, and ADHD. Physically disabled. They've got a lot going on, which aside from the BPD, I also am like that. I have also got all that shit going on. Complex PTSD we both have. And yeah, physical disabilities and then all that other shit. Yeah. I don't have BPD. I know a few people who do other than this person. Only one other person I would consider a friend who has BPD, but this person has become family. And I chose to get to know them after this crisis that I met them through. They were using the stray kids stay tag on Threads because that was their only way to get attention. Because there were people within that fandom that were targeting her, that were harassing her, sending her threats, pushing her to suicide. And she almost succeeded. That's why she kept trying to get attention from people. Instead of actually helping her, she had an attempt and she was rushed to the hospital, and I'm thankful that she's still alive. I have already lost too many people to suicide. I have gone through attempts. I have gone through ideation. And that stays with you the rest of your life. That never goes away. Even if I am not actively seeking to end my life, even if I am not thinking about ways to end my life, that ideation, that thought of, I could die today. This could happen to me. That could have been the way I go. It is always on your mind. It is always there. So I've been on that side of it, and I have been on the side of surviving when people I love have gone. People I served in the military with who are gone. Shipmates that were amazing people. I have a very close friend of mine that I love dearly, that it's been 3 years since her passing. That stays with you, you know? So even if I didn't know this person at that time, I was already upset. I was already terrified. Not simply that she's gone through a lot and that she may think about suicide. No, it's the fact that people were pushing her towards it within Stayville, as in this mock-up of civility and community. We're advocates for mental health and mental illnesses. We're there for stay. After her attempt, you mocked her. You put her on a block list because you didn't like her mucking up the stray kids stay tag. She wasn't the only one. You went after other people for that too. You ostracized her. You made her into this villain. Like, you know, I mean, I get that you have mental illnesses, but come on, why are you using the tag for it? It's just mucking up the thread. And I just want to learn about stray kids. Do you fucking hear yourself? This is a human life. And you literally couldn't give a shit. All you fucking care about is yourself. It's an entire fandom full of people who are self-centered bullies and abusers who don't give a flying fuck about anyone else. All they care about is Stray Kids music. All they care about is their big platform, their big account. All they care about is having the image of advocate, having the image that they are a good person. I saw all those comments. I screenshot a shit ton. I already screenshot a lot because I always bring receipts. As I got to know this person more, I took the time to learn more about her. I took the time to become close to her because I want to, because I cared about her and I didn't just see it as some stranger on the internet. I'm not telling everyone else that they had to do the same thing. But the way that some people would just literally be on her follower account only so they can mistreat her. And then when she stands up for herself, they do the Darvo method. The deflect, attack, reverse, the victim and offenders roles. Every fucking time she stood up and said, that's not okay. You can't mistreat me like that. That's not okay. I'm blocking you from my mental health. And then they go on this rant, paragraphs long, about how, she cut me out because of my mental illness. That it's literally to this point, copy and paste from a manual. I swear to fucking God, it is copy and paste almost literally word for word every fucking time. And I have screenshots from every one of those times because I pay attention to patterns. Now, people think that pattern recognition is part of autism. No. I believe that we seek out pattern recognition and we like patterns in general because it is routine, because it is set and that is regulated and that helps calm us. So it's not that I am good at pattern recognition because of autism. I believe that's a myth. I'm pretty sure there are some people who are talking about that too online, but no. I am good at pattern recognition. I enjoy patterns, just in general, the concept of patterns, but I paid attention. I pay attention to every single time this person posted slides and educational links about BPD, about complex PTSD, about autism, about the way that she views things and says, hey, I may have an episode because of this. This is what triggers me. I'm letting you know this is how you can communicate with me. This is how you can talk to me. Time and again, she posted that stuff. And time and again, people are like, thank you for posting this. This gives me so much information. And then at least half those people do the exact opposite and say the exact words that you're not supposed to say to someone with that. Every fucking time. Like clockwork. And then when she's like, hey, this isn't okay. I don't like this. This is not cool. They double down. And the two-faced bullshit too. The comments and the way that they treat her openly for everyone else to see versus the messages. I've seen those messages, guys. Okay. I've seen those. She has shared those messages with me. Okay. I've seen the fucked up shit that you said to her. And you expect people to believe you, but you don't bring any receipts every time you make those paragraph long threads. You never bring receipts. That is the thing. You never, ever post anything that shows that you're telling the truth. But because you have a bigger platform, you have more followers than her, people are going to believe you. Because you have manufactured this image for the masses. And that is a majority of the Stayville. That is a majority of that fandom. My found family, she's not the only person this has happened to. She is the one that I am closest to and the one that I can see this up front with. But she's not the only one. But a lot of people get pushed out and put on blacklists and are ostracized and vilified constantly. And no one questions it. No one questions how they are bullied, how they are being abused by these other accounts, by these bigger accounts. Because all those bigger accounts are on this huge K-pop fandom circle jerk with each other where they support each other, they lift each other up. But the moment that a little account's like, hey, this isn't okay, they go on the attack. I mean, hell, there are some bigger accounts that started an entire block list, like a targeted block list. And they're saying they're doing it in the name of advocacy. And I call bullshit on that. I take my cue from a lot of people, but I also do this shit because it's the right thing to do. I call people out, but I'm not going out and targeting people. I'm not doxing people. I'm not trying to tear people down, like going and seeking to do that. I see something, I say something. I say, look, here's this child predator. We need to report and block. If you've ever been a victim of child rape, sexual assault, anything like that, like I have, do not do anything but block. This is a name that you should block. Just do it. We will take care of the reporting. Just, that's a good example. And I've done that many times with some other pretty big accounts that I follow, and some of them happen to follow me back because I interact with them, because I am engaging and I am doing what they're doing. But that's the kind of thing that I would do anyway. Honestly, I was already doing that shit before I even interacted with some of the big accounts who happen to follow me, because it's the right thing to do. I have a voice, I'm going to use it. So I've been using it. And when I saw this person in crisis, when I saw them going through this, I wasn't going to let it stand. Even if I hadn't been in the K-pop fandom scene, I would have still done that. To me, it didn't matter if she was a stay or not. I didn't fucking care because I saw her as a human being. But the majority of this community didn't see it that way. They didn't see her as a human being. They saw her as an object to play around with. They didn't give a flying fuck if she actually committed suicide. Time and again, she's had people go after her, bigger accounts go after her, target her, having people anonymously say like, oh, I hope so-and-so's followers go after you. I hope they dox you. I hope they, I hope you die. Like, it's endless. It's just consistent. And I'm so fucking done with it. I did a recent call out of one person. They aren't the only ones I've called out, though. There was one time where I called someone out. And because I happened to not post one of the images that happened to be from the messages, because I still was getting used to, like, I was still learning and still growing as friend and family to this person, I didn't take that screenshot that she had and put that with my post. But I posted other examples. Someone had the fucking audacity to screenshot my post on my, at that time, I'd just gone private. So I was private. I'm still private for safety reasons that are completely unrelated to this. But my private account, and they sent it to an outside person that I don't know this person. I've never spoken to them. They claimed that they were some sort of stay editor, like for the fandom. I'm like, oh, okay, you're in charge of the entire fandom. All right, that's the way they made it seem. They had the fucking audacity and the entitlement to believe that they could get away with this shit, to just go into my DMs and say, hey, someone said that you're claiming this, blah, blah, blah. And, we want to, resolve this conflict. They just wanted me to shut up. They didn't want any of the bullying and the threats to actually stop. They didn't fucking care about this human being who's being affected by this shit. They only cared about the image of stay. They only cared about the image of stray kids. They didn't care about a human life hanging in the balance. And I called that shit out too. I said, whoever fucking did this, I will find you. And I will call you out. And I will be brutal and merciless. Like, I will not hold back. Because this is bullshit. This is my private account. And you took this to some rando person that I don't know. And, like, did this whole little tattle thing. Within an hour of me calling out and saying, hey, don't do this shit, someone changed their name and their PFP and then unfollowed me, but they kept me as a follower. So that's the only reason why I knew. I'm like, okay. So yeah, no, I definitely removed, myself as their follower and blocked them and called them out too. And let people know, I don't play around with this shit. This is a person's actual life. And you're playing around with it. And you think that it's okay to do that. And you want to silence anyone who calls it out because you only care about that stupid image of yours. There was a point when I actually wondered, would Stray Kids members actually care that a majority of their fandom is toxic like this? Because, I mean, their fandom is what keeps them going. So, oh, you know, Stay is so wonderful, Stay is so nice and kind and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, our music has helped them, blah, blah, blah. And you've got your brand deals and all that kind of shit. And, you know, like, yes, it's a job. We don't know how they actually are as human beings. But honestly, because of recent events, I think it's pretty obvious that they don't actually care about any singular human life. They don't actually care about human lives in general. Because not just with the Harry Potter thing. Because, I mean, that is real life harm being done to the trans and non-binary community. Because JKR has literally said that she wants them dead. Every single trans non-binary person she wants dead. She has literally fucking said that. People will excuse her all the live long day under the sun. People do not fucking care about anyone else's lives. They just want this childhood nostalgia, which wasn't even good if you look back on it. And yeah, I grew up with it. I was literally 11 years old when that first book came out and when they started doing the whole movie thing. I literally grew with it. It concluded just after I turned 18. Like, it concluded when I had fully become an adult. So yeah, I grew with that too. But childhood nostalgia and a fictional character is not worth the lives of actual human beings. It's not. And time and again, Stray Kids and other, you know, groups have just continued to do this. And I'm really sick and tired of the infantilization of where people are like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. You know, they're not, you know, plugged into the world. No, they're fucking grown adult men. Okay. They're mid to late 20s. Okay. Like, I am 39 years old, 39 and a half. I turn 40 next year. And it's just, I shouldn't be surprised by the idiocy in those statements. I shouldn't be surprised by the lengths that people will go to excuse and justify this kind of bullshit behavior. But continuing to show support by brandishing anything Harry Potter, that is, she has said herself that is showing support for her. So even if they don't give a cent to her, other people will. And way too many people who are Stay were elated when they were doing Harry Potter stuff recently this year. Twice now that I'm aware of. There may be more. I only know that because there's still people who continue to support Stray Kids. And I refuse to support them ever again. Like, I'm fucking done. But just the fact that, and yeah, I'm going to fucking go there. You would think that if at least one of the members had lost someone to suicide, they would give a damn about people losing their lives to suicide, which is very prevalent in the trans and non-binary community because of the extremist views of transphobia, because of how hardcore people push them to kill themselves. You would think that someone who lost someone they cared about to suicide would give a damn about other people losing their lives that way. And that holding on to that childhood nostalgia is saying that you support that because that is the views of the author. You cannot separate art from artists on this. You cannot. So you continuing to do that means you support people losing their lives in that way. You would think that if someone close to you lost their life to suicide, you would look a little bit closer into this kind of thing. So that right there tells me that they wouldn't actually care about not just my close friend and found family, but any of the other people who have come close to attempts or suicide ideation because of this fandom. That tells me that the members would not give a flying fuck about their lives. And that if something were to happen, oh, it's such a tragedy, how could we have prevented this? You could have fucking prevented it. You could have done something. You have this fucking platform and you're not using it. You are literally allowing this to happen and you don't give a flying fuck. That tells me what I need to know about you as a person. This may be a job, but no. You have this job, but you could use this job. You have a voice. Why the fuck aren't you using it? And the community as a whole with Stayville, you glorified in someone's attempt and made a mockery of it. And then some of you played games with that person's life afterwards and then turned her into the villain. And you use your mental illnesses, you weaponize your mental illnesses and try to turn the tables on her. On many people, because I have receipts when you've done that shit to other people too. You think that you can hide that? Internet is literally forever. And there are some people who, when I called them out, they acted like they could intimidate me. I don't care about follower count. I don't care about how many subscribers I have. I haven't even checked recently how many subscribers I have to YouTube. I don't do this for followers. I don't do this because I want like publicity or to be famous or some shit. I don't fucking care. I literally give zero shits about how you think of me, your opinion of me. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to speak out against this bullshit because not only is it the right thing to do, but I feel like I have an obligation to. There are too many voices that have been silenced because of this kind of shit. My voice was nearly silenced multiple times throughout my childhood and adulthood. Multiple times I somehow survived. I'm pretty sure at this point it's purely out of spite. And just to say, everyone can fuck off. I'm going to do this because I fucking want to. Just like I am friends with and consider this person family because I want to. Because I see them as not just like worth my time, but because they are a decent human being and I got to know them. Because I took the time to learn how to communicate with them and interact with them. And that's the thing too. Far too often people will say like, oh, my brain is this way, so no. Autism, ADHD, that shit does not make you abuse others online. You're just an abuser. Same way when it comes to MPD, BPD, all that shit happened, yes. But you choosing to harm others, that's a you thing. That has nothing to do with your condition. It has nothing to do with what happened to you when you were younger. You made the choice. Same way that a lot of people are making the choice to stay silent on this. Which is even worse in my eyes. You see something happening and you're refusing to speak up about it. That makes you worse than the actual abusers because you could have prevented something and you're not. So that is my view now of Stray Kids. That is my view of Stayville. I was already kind of pissed off, but this is months of this happening. This is months of these people fucking around with people's lives and then trying to justify it. And then saying that they're following the example of Stray Kids. Well, I would say that is correct. You are. Because they are showing that they do not give a flying fuck about someone's life. That it could end in suicide or abuse and murder. Because that shit has happened too. And yeah, JKR isn't the only person who's pushing that. I mean, have you seen the United States? Have you seen the clusterfuck that it is? So she's not the only person, but she has such a huge platform and she's using that to bring harm to others. She's using that to promote harm to others. So continuing to showcase support or love for anything of hers openly, especially Harry Potter, shows that that is your view. You align with her. So if you didn't, you should have fucking said something. And they haven't. Neither has ATs. You know that whole thing with like Hongjoon like having like the one fingernail painted for domestic abuse, like survivors and shit like that, like victims of that? Does that include trans and non-binary? I didn't think so. Because if it did, then maybe you'd actually give a fuck about their lives as well and not continue to push this whole childhood nostalgia thing. Like, you let it fucking go or just do it privately. But to show it openly and publicly, you are showing support for that. So it's no surprise to me, honestly, that the majority of the Stay fandom is following in Stray Kids' footsteps, because they do not give a fuck about people's lives. And people have been playing with not just my family's life, but many others. Every fucking time I come across that shit, I screenshot it. I have tens of thousands of screenshots. My last upload, like yesterday, had over 2,000 screenshots. The last upload before that was the 9th, and it had 3,000 screenshots. I don't fuck around with that. And I'm not the only one taking screenshots. So yeah. There are people who could try to intimidate, who can try to say, like, you better not fucking say this shit. The receipts are going to show. Not only that, I don't give a flying fuck. I don't care that you're like, oh, you shouldn't say that. I don't fucking care. This shit is happening and real people's lives are being affected. So I'm going to say shit. I'm going to call that shit out. And I'm not going to stop calling that shit out. And yeah, there is the chance that someone could try to come after me, could try to dox me or whatever, because some of these motherfuckers are really deranged. Like, they really will target and go after people. I know this would be like really hella privilege for me to say, but considering that I am, you know, a Navy veteran and that I was in intel, I did have some sort of clearance. If someone were to dox me, if someone were to come after me, if someone were to try to go after anything that had to do with my Navy record, I know the channels to go through to not only file a police report, but the DOJ and the FBI. I have their numbers on speed dial. I will use that if I fucking have to. I don't fucking care. That's pretty privileged of me to say. Yeah. I happen to have that privilege, so I will fucking use it. I had to use it recently because of that security issue that made me go private. So thankfully nothing came of it, and that person didn't dox me and endanger not just myself, but my children, my minor children. But yeah, I'll use it if I have to. But you're not going to intimidate me with this shit. You're not going to tell me that I can't go up against a fandom. I don't fucking care what you think of me. I don't fucking care how big your follower count is. You're not a good person. I'm sick and tired of you saying that shit. I'm sick and tired of you playing games with people's lives and then justifying it. And I'm sick and tired of people putting Stray Kids on this pedestal and thinking that they are such good people. I haven't seen proof. And yeah, I got caught up with the, you know, the K-pop, you know, fandom. I got caught up in all that shit. I've been into K-pop for a long time, but I only listened to music. I didn't really watch anything online. And that's on me. I should have done that. And I'm not perfect. I know that. I know that I have fucked up too. I know that I have spread misinformation. Then I corrected myself. That's the other thing too. There was a certain person within the Stay fandom that I went after. And yeah, I did not have their consent to talk about a certain topic. And they called me out on it. And yeah, I was pissed at myself because it's like, yeah, no, that was wrong. Me being wrong about that, me owning up to that shit and apologizing, which, by the way, I will never expect someone to accept of an apology or even forgive me for that shit if I fuck up. That's not on me. I literally acknowledge and apologize, and there's nothing more I can do. It doesn't matter how I feel about that after that point. But that does not absolve that person of being awful and aggressive and abusive towards other people online. So even if I can own up to that shit and say, yes, I fucked up in this instance, that person is also in bed online with a whole bunch of these accounts that have been abusive to others, not just my friend and found family. And they're like, oh, if I blocked them, there must have been a good reason. No, the reason that you cited had nothing to do with this person. In fact, she literally was put on that block list, created block list just for her, simply because people had the entitlement to think that Stray Kids Stay tag could only belong to Stray Kids and stay, as in none of any of the bad things, none of the things, you know. It's literally just like, let's not look at that dark stuff. Let's not look at, you know, people calling for help, because it ruins our aesthetic. It ruins this image that we're trying to say, that we are all one big community. Having those conversations, sitting down and actually having a conversation like real fucking adults, and looking at something and saying, okay, this bad thing is happening, let's support this person. None of you did that shit. Instead, you targeted her and others who tried to use that tag when they had no other resources. Literally, online was the only place they can go. Because I don't know if you fucking know this, especially in the US, there are a shit ton of states that don't even have mental health facilities. Don't even, like, they have nothing. They have nothing, or the things that they do have don't fucking care. They don't care about mental health. They don't care about giving resources to people who need them. Not every state in the US is progressive in even the slightest way. She's literally stuck with no resources, and she didn't have any friends in real life at that time. Like, she didn't have anything. So she went to the one place that she thought she could go to. So just because I fucked up in this one thing doesn't mean that that person is absolved from all the fuck shit. Because I may have sent a private message to this person and talked about something that they didn't want to talk about, but that's it. The moment that I saw them try to call my friend and family out, like, oh yeah, they must have been lying. No, they weren't fucking lying about that. And now I see you're part of that problem too. You are part of that collective. I'm not talking about collective of the other collective. I'm talking about the collective of the Stay fandom who targeted her specifically. So yeah, I'm going to keep calling this shit out. I'm going to keep saying this shit. I'm going to keep telling you how fucked up it is. I don't have a big platform like any of these other people. I don't care about that shit. I'm still going to say this. I'm still going to call you an awful person, because you are, for doing this shit to others, for choosing to do that and choosing to not speak up against it, choosing to look the other way. That's the other thing too. Some of these people who do this refuse to speak up when they see more of it happening, because they think proximity to those bigger Stay accounts means that they will not be targeted. That's bullshit. Bullies and abusers don't fucking care. They see how useful you are to them. When your use outlives itself, they will turn on you as well. Every fucking time. Proximity to them does not save you. That's fucking bullying and abusing 101. When you have survived that shit, when you've gone through that shit, when you recognize that shit, that is literally just 101 right there. That's not going to save you. Proximity will do nothing for you. You want to be a fucking coward? Fine. Fandom as a whole are just cowards. Or abusers and bullies. Stray Kids, cowards. They don't want to speak up against this shit. You would think that they would care about people's lives hanging in the balance and possible suicide because of what's happening. You would think they would care. But they showed how they really care. And their fandom reflects that. So it's not just me doing this whole rant and hate against them. It's me calling them out on that bullshit. It's me saying, this is not okay behavior. It's not. There's a time when I thought, maybe the person, if you believe in the afterlife, maybe they're judging you or whatever. But honestly, I don't think they care about that either. I don't think that they would care, because that person's gone. They're dead. So it doesn't matter if they would have judged them for this or not, because they don't care enough to help others in their memory. They don't care enough to actually try to save lives. They care about their image. They care about their brands. The fandom doesn't care about human lives. It just cares about stray kids and their music. It cares about their image and pretending to be a community worth any kind of, merit. I have been pissed. I have been angry and furious for months. The hilarious part, at least to me, is how many of those accounts would flood a post to apologize to my friend and family's husband. They would apologize to him and not her because they feared him. And I'm like, he's a big teddy bear. Are you kidding me? Not that you shouldn't be afraid of someone calling your shit out, but I never looked at him in fear. I just like, no. I am excessively protective of people who are victims of this shit. I am incredibly assertive and aggressive about this stuff because I do not let this shit go. I do not forget or forgive. I make sure people know that. I make sure people have a light shined on their behavior because I'm not going to let that slide. I'm not going to let you run into obscurity. Abusers and bullies do not deserve obscurity. You think this person, her husband, is scary? You haven't met me then. If I am this way with people I don't even know, how do you think I'm going to be when it comes to family? I'm not going to let this shit slide. I'm going to continue to speak up. You can rant all you want in response. You can try to defend and justify any of this shit all you want. Doesn't fucking matter. Those receipts will be posted. People will know that you are not a good person. You are not a safe space. That fandom isn't. Neither stray kids.